what they say. I won't stay in a world without love.
Hello, welcome back. reScribd once again. Hope you guys enjoyed the last couple episodes. We are back in the flow of things. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm recording. This is a month in advance. Holy shit, who am I? Well, let's keep going until I decide to give up again. But hey, now we're gonna get in some horror because this is October. We're a little spooky, and since we are, I want to get into one of my favorite filmmakers, writer and director, Edgar Wright, with Last Night in Soho. We're back with this. I've officially done 3 Edgar Wright films on reScribd. This is the first of the new format. This will be the 4th, Last Night in Soho. Have you guys seen it? I just rewatched it. Fucking awesome movie. Very cool, very cool. I keep going back and forth, but it's definitely up there. One of my favorites. What is it, 2022, I believe? So, no, it's 2021. 2021. One of my favorites of that year. Now, let's get into this story because this is very creepy, trippy, like the 60s. So let's get into it. Last Night in Soho, written by Edgar Wright, Christy Wilson-Cairns. Fucking amazing. Let's get it. Music plays, A World Without Love. Well, you saw it at the top of the podcast. The intro to this. A long, dark hallway, lit at a far end by an open door. A silhouette appears in the doorway, an outline of a woman, stylish, dressed in a beautiful gown. She struts down the dark corridor, dress flowing, she dances, carving shapes in the light. Embodiment of cool, class, and elegance, she hits a switch. The hallway floods with light. Jarringly, we find ourselves not in some nightclub, but in the upstairs hallway of a cozy home, adorned with pictures and photos that suggest the domicile of a much older person. The dancer is Eloise Turner, 18, way messier than her silhouette suggested. Hair in a rough bun. Beautiful dress is actually made of newspaper, a dressmaking pattern, expertly cut and pinned. Eloise continues to dance down the hallway. Her moves are quirky, weird, and more than a little awkward. Dancing for herself, lost in her own world, she shimmies down the chintzy hallway right into a shrine of the 60s, a portable record player. Blast music across this half-bedroom, half-fashion workroom. Eloise is Holly Golightly Redux, as she takes the straw out of a can of Coke, uses it as a cigarette holder. She vamps around the room, which is covered in panoramas, art, and icons from the 60s. Winks at a poster of Twiggy, before dancing around the dressmaker mannequin. She lifts it and spins, attempting to waltz. As she dances, we see a framed photos for her bedside table. Eloise's mother and grandmother, Peggy, in mid-90s London, posing outside a Criterion restaurant. Eloise, her mother, and Peggy in mid-2000s London outside of Liberty's. Eloise and Peggy in 2017 in a rural hamlet. Her mother is absent. Oh no. Beside the frames is a shrine to London, a little dinky red phone box, a toy black cab, a tiny Carnaby Street sign. Eloise dips the mannequin and puts her head where it should be, imitates a male voice. Beautiful gown, darling. Eloise leans back bashfully. Thank you. Fabulous. Who are you wearing? Eloise Turner. Eloise waltzes away from the mannequin and over to the rail of clothes. She pulls a 1960s silk scarf from the rail and shimmies over to a full-length bedroom mirror. Her mind, the paparazzo, along the red carpet. Behind the rail, she strikes a fierce pose. The dress. Who are you wearing? Eloise T, of course. Nope. She strikes another pose. E.T. Big dope. Shakes her head. Ellie Turner. Yes, that one. She wraps the scarf around her head like she's a 60s film star. Bardot, eat your heart out. She spins and flicks the scarf through the air, knocks one of the photo frames off her bedside table onto the floor, the one of her mother, and her grandmother. As she kneels down to retrieve it, her large dress knocks the record player. Bump. The record skips, repeats. Ellie kneels down to grab it, looks for the beat. Her finger traces the image of her mother, hands to place the frame on the bedside table. As she does, her eyes catches the mirror, a figure behind her, hovering in the doorway. A smile creeps across her face, and she turns to see her mother, looking as she does in the photo. Far too young to have an 18-year-old daughter. Smiles back at Ellie. Warm, dripping with love. Ellie matches it. Good news, isn't it? Her mother nods. And from downstairs, we hear an older voice shout, Eloise! Post! Ellie looks around excitedly upon hearing this. Then she dashes to the record player, takes the stylus off. Ellie! She heads through the door. Her mother has vanished. Coming! Ellie bounds down the stairs. She stops on a landing to see her grandmother, Peggy, 70s, holding the envelope up. Ellie takes the last few stairs, 2 at a time, and grabs the letter. She holds it for a second. London College of Fashion is printed on the outside. She takes a breath. Trying to calm her nerves, she opens the envelope. Peggy watches on anxiously as Ellie reads. What does it say? I'm going to London. I knew you would be. I'm going to London. And she sings it. I'm not going to sing it. Sorry, I'm a bad singer. But I'm better than Bryan Singer, so fuck him. Sorry. I don't know why I took that shot, but hey. Okay, so let's talk about these rules that I established. Number 1, and we've seen it from the very first scene, and we didn't even get any dialogue. This is great. We establish many things about Eloise. We established her character and how she sees the world. She thinks she has it all together, but of course she's very naive. She doesn't know exactly who she is. Wants to have this perfect life, but obviously nothing is together. So this is Eloise's character so far. And we're gonna see how that character develops a little bit more throughout the film. Strip lighting and blue linoleum. Sorry, I never read that word before. Floors. This place just looks like it smells of bleach. Ellie, sweaty and frazzled, batters her cases off her shins as she struggles along. Head pops out from one of the doors. It belongs to Jocasta, 19, tall and slender, imposingly beautiful, achingly cool. She speaks at 200 miles per hour. Rarely smiles. She's overdressed in a black designer couture, but has the attitude to pull it off. You Eloise? Yeah? Look like an Eloise. Well, Ellie. Jocasta backs into the doorway. Sorry, I just read ahead a little bit. Backs into the doorway and points to a printed sheet pinned to the door. Jocasta Thompson. Eloise Turner. Jocasta's surname is crossed out with a black marker. I laughed at it because that's the lead actress name, Thompson McKenzie. She's fantastic as well. Of course, Anya Taylor-Joy is as well, and Matt Smith. Everyone is incredible in this movie. And I believe this is Diana Rigg's final role. What a role, though. Anyway, I'm Jocasta. Did they spell your surname wrong or something? No, I decided to drop it because it's more singular to be known by your Christian name. Still famous in your work, they can literally just go by Kylie. Nope. Jenner. Okay, bad example. How many Jocastas do you know? None. Exactly, babes. I don't like babes. Jocasta holds open the door, and Ellie heads into a room far too small for two people. This place is tiny, dank. The window looks out into the brick wall. Ellie enters, trying very hard not to look disheartened. Jocasta's stuff is strewn across the prime bed, one that doesn't get battered every time the door opens. You don't mind I snagged the one by the window, do you? No. Jocasta pours red wine into the glass and thrusts it into Ellie's hand as she is taking off her coat. We don't end up throttling each other. We'll maybe talk about switching next term. She smiles at Ellie. It's disarmingly charming. So where are you from? Woodeth. Jocasta looks at Ellie, lost. I'm sorry. You know, Cornwall, the countryside. I heard you, babes. I'm just sorry. Oh, so what about you? Manchester. I spent my gap year there, interning in a Altair Savigel Kudo. Sorry, I'm not British. I don't know. Ellie stares at Jocasta, totally intimidated. Wow. Been in Red Roof, making my own clothes. I had a bunch. You that made that. I had a hunch you made that. I'm stupid. Sorry. I had a hunch you made that. This is Pochajai. Before she sold out, moved to Ladvin. Spoke? No. Is that allowed here? Jocasta leans in and smiles conspiratorially. Took the batteries out of the alarm. I guess I can go outside if you really have a problem with it. No, it's fine. Tried vaping. This makes you seem so much of a more of a sorry, I got the opportunity to say cunt and I wanted to say I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, totally. Jocasta blows smoke towards the window. Her eyes land on Ellie's untouched wine. Ellie feels her glare and sips some. What does your dad do? I don't know. What about your mom? My mother's dad. Did we find some common ground eventually? I was only 15 when she died. You? 7. Wow, that is young. So I guess maybe it's easier at that age. Not a competition though, is it? Ellie looks at Jocasta. It isn't. Sounds filter in the corridor outside. More arrivals. Ooh, fresh blood. Jocasta rushes for them. Ellie's alone in the room, lost. Ellie peers into the kitchen to see Jocasta holding court. Jocasta already has 3 other students in orbit around her. All of them are overdressed. Modern silhouettes in black. Very high fashion. There are Cammy, Ashley, and Laura. Not a bloody butcher jar. I'm going to butcher that every time I say that. I don't think they say it after this though. Good eye. From before she sold out and moved to London. Obviously. Laughter canters around the group. Oh, this is my roomie, Eloise. I turned to her, sizing her up. She literally made the outfit she's wearing. How amazing is that? All of us turn up in our Sunday best and she's rocking her own design. We should call her Brass Balls Ellie. Or Laughter, but Ellie isn't sure if it's at her expense. What are we gonna call you? By tomorrow morning, you shall know me only as Hurricane Jocasta. You guys know each other from before? Oh, we go way back. What is it now, 15 minutes? Something like that. We're in the Dead Moms Club. The room is suddenly awkward. Fuck leukemia, am I right? That is awful. It's pretty shit, I'm not gonna lie. I feel it really fuels my work. Up to your mom. Eloise looks at the other. She flushes a little. Well, my mom wasn't well mentally. Killed herself. Silence. Everyone's faces are flooded with empathy except Jocasta, who inexplicably looks pissed off. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have asked. It was a long time ago. You're like so brave. So brave. Christ. Yeah, I had a great My uncle committed suicide, hung himself, so I know exactly what that's like. You fucking cunt. Ellie, trying to get out of the conversation, opens the fridge to put her can of Coke in it. Inside is a mini Whole Foods Emporium, all with Jocasta monogrammed across them. First rodeo, Els? And the market territory, babes. Stop saying babes, I hate that. Jocasta grabs a Sharpie from the counter, writes the name Ellie on the Coke, and puts it inside. Ellie watches trepidation as Jocasta grabs the bottle from Jägermeister. Time to break out the big guns. Let's really get on in this bitch. Jocasta pours 5 shots of Jaeger into some mugs. Do we really want to be hungover on the first day? Hush, it's future Cammy talking. You know what? Fuck her. Gotta live in the now. So hoes? To Soho. They all toast to Soho. Really late, quietly. Just a bit shit. Ollie listens in. They head to the stall next to her. We hear unmistakable sniffing between their lines. Like she's real cold beige. And born again Christian vibes off her. Ooh, country mouse? Ellie looks at the door of the stall, her heart sinking. Comes in the first day at LCF wearing clothes she made. Fuck's sake! They cackle. It was a bit much. Then she kept bringing up her mom's suicide. Who uses that for attention? Yeah, it was a little weird. A lot fucking weird. I laid bets on her slashing her wrist before Christmas. Your astonished gasps and cackles. Then they leave. Ellie stays in a stall, angry and hurt. Number 2 reason, opening up to Jocasta, immediately backfires. Very first person she opens up to. Yeah. Ellie is unsure of herself, unsure of who to trust, who to be around people. So can't be yourself. Bullied immediately. Alright, we're down here now. Ellie's new bedroom. We see Ellie at peace, alone, unpacking her new bedroom. Well, it's not quite home. It's close enough. She settles on her bed for a beat and finally exhales. The photograph of her mother is on the bedside table, pride of place. But yes, we are skipping ahead. She moved out of her dorm because Jocasta, obviously. Fucking bitch. Ellie lifts it, stares at her mom. She's in her early 20s, confident, ambitious. Her eyes sparkle with life, with hope. Ellie runs her fingers over the image of her mother, evoking her as she did before. When she looks expectantly around the room, there's no vision of her mother, no ghost. Ellie's alone. For a second, it's almost overwhelming. Ellie sets the photograph back down. This is very telling because she doesn't see her. She's not picturing herself as a mother. Now she's impressionable. She changes to a comfy hoodie and PJs. Sets up her Crossley player, puts on some vinyl. Runs her hands along the warped, musty walls, getting a feel for her new home, her new private domain. Will not be harassed. She lies back and stares at a black vinyl spinning. You're My World by Celia Black. Tricolor neon seeps in. The French restaurant sign next door flashes in a dark bedroom. Red, white, blue. Red, white, blue. Ellie pulls the bed sheets over her head to dampen the neon. The light gets through. Red, white, blue. Red, red, red. Red, red, red. Now we're in a tunnel. Red, red, red. Ellie pulls the bed sheet off her face to find that she is no longer in bed. Ellie glances around the strange place. She's in a tunnel. The amber glow of streetlights glint from the far end. Ellie stands, still in her PJs and hoodie. Heads to the bright lights, walking over the cobbles until it opens to London, 1960. Some buildings are the same, but the changes are noticeable. The signage, the lighting, the cars, the fashions. Right in front of Ellie is the entrance to the glamorous nightclub, the famous de Paris. She is drawn towards the front door. Chic men and women are queued up outside. Ellie drifts inexorably towards the entrance. Two well-dressed bouncers spot her, exchange a look. One smiles, makes room for her, walks straight into sumptuous. The decor drips muddy. Ellie stands in the middle of its stunning foyer. In her PJs, the posh cloakroom. It doesn't seem to mind. May I take your cloak, madam? Ellie looks around. Stained hoodie. My cloak? Yeah. She unzips her hoodie and hands it to the attendant. As she does, she clocks a full-length mirror to her side. Ellie stares at it, bewildered. Her reflection is Sandie, early 20s, stunning, confident, and ambitious. She's dressed to the nines. There's a radiance to her. Everyone is drawn to it, none more so than Ellie. Ellie walks towards the mirror, testing the reflection, unable to believe that she could ever look like Sandie. Not even in her wildest dreams. Sandie has a tumbling set of platinum curls, the classic Bridget Bardot haircuts of the time. That offset her gorgeous face. Her eyes sparkle back at Ellie. God damn, it's Anya Taylor-Joy. Absolute beauty. I think I said this in my review. Anya Taylor-Joy looks like she belongs in every time period. I don't know. Like watching this, The Northman, The Witch, Split, even Furiosa. She looks like she belongs. Fucking great. Shout out to Anya Taylor-Joy. She's a fantastic actress. We push into the mirror and observe Sandie in a reflection. With the gentleman this evening, Sandie turns as one of the bouncers approaches. As he pulls out from the mirror, perspectives magically shift. Sandie stands in the lobby. Ellie is in a reflection, as if Ellie is inhabiting Sandie's body. They are not. So Madam is alone. Sandie smiles. Her charm has an edge of defiance. I am. Very good. Cloakroom attendant shows Sandie to the stairs. She descends into... All eyes are on Sandie as she descends in the mirrored staircase. She is the belle of the ball. In the reflection of the mirrors, we see Ellie, still in her PJs, going down with her. She too is looking at Sandie. On stage is Celia Black herself, singing the very song that Ellie was playing on a vinyl in her room. Sandie walks confidently onto the nightclub floor. Into the crowd, the music swells as she parts the sea of rich clubgoers, attracting attention from male and female patrons. She heads to a beautiful bar. Before she makes it, a rotund, balding man. His 40s stands in her way. Well dressed, but oozes sweat and sleaze. We'll call him Cubby. Hello, you are a gorgeous creature. What is your name? Sandie. Cubby gestures towards a dark booth, peopled with other similarly shifty men in dark suits. Care to join my friends and I, Sandie? Princess. I'm sorry. I was gonna throw up after I said that. Thank you, but I'm here to meet the owner. I am the owner. Cubby grins. Sandie looks at him, rear disbelief. I doubt that. Whatever you want me to be, Sandie. He brushes off Cubby's affections as Celia Black finishes her song to applause from the crowd. Sandie rocks up at the bar. The mirrored back, we see Ellie watching her reflection. Observer. Facial dimension. As Sandie waits for service, she sees Jack, movie star, handsome with slick back hair. Perfectly dressed, type head, pocket square. Sips a drink, eyes are locked onto her. Sandie smiles just long enough, then looks away. In the mirror, we can see Ellie as Sandie's reflection, still watching all of this with awe. Bartender approaches. What's your poison, miss? I'm not here to drink, actually. I want to speak to the owner. Owner's not in tonight. What to speak to him about? I'm gonna be your new headline act. Where have you played before? Nowhere. Who starts at Cafe de Paris? Me. The bartender smiles. I'll take your name if you want, but maybe you should speak to Jack in the meantime. Jack? The bartender points to him, now standing next to Celia Black making small talk. Over there, the guy standing by Celia Black. He manages a lot of girls. Andy's eyes twinkle. Makes her way over to Jack. Slides in next to him. He looks up at him. It's magnetic. He turns away from Celia. Looks towards Sandie with a smile. Why, hello there. The bartender said I should get to know the handsome fella standing next to Celia Black. You should, and you are. The next Celia Black. Jack likes this, takes her in. Are you now? Well, you know she started as a coat check girl. Willing to work your way up? You willing to work your way up? Of course. What can I get you to drink? Sandie. And I love a Vesper. Jack orders her a cocktail, looks her up and down. What do you do, Sandie? I sing, of course. How was your dancing? Care for a demonstration? A new song starts up in the club as Sandie pulls Jack into the dance floor. Alright, let's stop right here. Let's talk. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this, Now, this brings me to number 3 for me. Introduce the antagonist. Travel back to the past with Sandie and Jack. So this isn't an antagonist you recognize right away, because that's the theme of this. You don't recognize anything right away. People trying to pull you in different ways. Metapix, of course, yes. Everyone knows this. The antagonist isn't really clear at first, but spoilers for the rest of the movie. Of course, you have to see it watching this. These two are antagonists, Sandie and Jack. Mainly Jack. Sandie is only an antagonist because she is made to be. Sandie proceeds to tear up the dance floor. Everyone is looking at her. Jack watches appreciatively and then joins her in the dance. The two cut a rug and look good doing it. Ooh, see, look at that. That's in the script. At a key moment in the choreography, Sandie becomes Ellie for a magical moment. Also now done up to the nines. Some platinum Bardot curls. Actually, that's not in the film. It's just normal Ellie. It ends with Sandie back to normal, Ellie in a reflection, Jackson bowled over. Your thoughts? Jack slips a hand around Sandie's waist and waltzes with her. You're already a star. She grins. You could be an old lady before you get on that stage here. Sandie's face drops a little. How about I get you a gig somewhere this week? You could do that? I could indeed. First, let me get your drink. That goes back to the bar. Cubby pounces on her once again. Do I get a dance now? Afraid not. Oh, you looked up for it just then. Just waiting for my friend Jack to get my drink. Well, I'm sure Jack won't mind. I mind. Cubby turns nasty, grabbing Sandie's arm. Don't pretend you don't love the attention. Jack returns with the Vesper. This man bothering you? Before Sandie can answer, Cubby weighs in. I was only asking our friend Sandie for a dance. Her heart is full right now. In one smooth move, Jack waltzes her away from Cubby. Alright, old chap, don't hug her all night. You're the hog, old chap. Sandie can't believe how cheeky Jack is. Ease. Oh, don't be a cunt about it. You can keep your little whore. What did you call it, the lady? She's a slut, mate. Look at her. Boom. Jack punches Cubby out. Lightning quick, Cubby reels back. His hands ball to fist before he can strike back. Bang! Jack hits him again and knocks him down. It's all so sudden and shocking. See the flush of emotion on Sandie's face. She's both scared and thrilled. In a nearby mirror, we can see that Ellie feels the same. There's commotion as bouncers swarm the dance floor. Jack pulls Sandie out of the fray into mirrored on 3 sides. Motion rages outside. Jack and Sandie are suddenly very close in proximity. Sandie looks into Jack's deep blue eyes. They kiss. Oh. In the mirror, we see Sandie look into her own reflection. See Ellie staring back at her. See ecstasy on Sandie's face as Jack roughly kisses her. We see the stunned expression on Ellie's as Jack bites her neck. Bouncers close in. They are found. They run up the stairs laughing like kids. Suddenly, in a rush, we're back on the street where we started, Jack gesturing to Triumph Spitfire. In the background, the lights, Piccadilly. Least I could do is drive you home. What's the most? Jack grins. You know Gooch Street? Well, I'm on Gooch Place, number 8. Screen is filled with a head of golden curls. The back of Sandie's head, but the chair swivels to reveal Ellie. She has her hair dyed to the same platinum blonde as Sandie. Style like the Bordeaux. I don't know. I said the word earlier. I don't know. See, now I'm stupid. I'm sorry. She looks in the mirror, admiring her new look, then beams at the stylist. I can't fucking believe it. Flash, she takes a selfie of her new platinum dew. Well, it's certainly a surprise. Eat wait. Oh. I was over a glass Edo was referenced somehow, but no. Confident Ellie walks down the street towards the entrance to her college. She's on the phone with Peggy. If I didn't know who it was you, I'd walk right by you on the street. Makes you look so grown up. You don't like it? I like it if you like it. Can't ignore the admiring look she gets from passersby. Love it. Well, good. I'm just glad you're finding yourself in London, Eloise. It's everything I dreamed of. Boom, boom, boom. Number 4. Challenge. Eloise yearning for Sandie's life and personality. Ellie is literally changing herself to fit Sandie. There's more of this in the film where she changed her personality as well as her clothes. So she's actually trying to become Sandie. And then it gets up to a point where Ellie heads down the street, checking out her blonde reflections in a shop window, black apron and rota in hand. At this point, she just got a job at the bar. She's a bartender. She started designing more dresses. You know, basic story stuff for the film. Watch the full film for more of it. Excuse me, love. Ellie turns to see the silver-haired gentleman from the bar following her. She moves quicker, but she has to stop at the lights. He catches up with her. I'm talking to you, Blondie. I'm sorry, I have somewhere to be. I'm not trying to pick you up, sweetheart. Don't worry. I'm not worried. You look familiar to me. Who's your mother? My mother's dead. Oh. Thought she might be. Most of them are. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. Profoundly weirded out, Ellie steps away from him and into the street. A black cab comes out of nowhere. She's almost knocked down. The silver-haired gentleman smiles. Watch where you're going, girl. Also, this happens 3 times in the film, where someone is nearly hit by a car. First one was in the first dream sequence. I think this is the second one. There's one more. Shaken, Ellie looks around to make sure she's not followed as she opens the door. Miss Collins is in the hallway, sorting through her posts. She looks at Ellie suspiciously. Can I help you? It's me, Ellie. Collins looks at her for a beat and realizes. So it is. Look at that. You've changed your hair. Yes, I wanted to go something different. A bit 60s. Play a lot of that music, don't you? Is it too loud? Not at all. What's that about? It's from my day, not yours. My grand played it a lot. I guess I just like the old songs better than the stuff today. The music was better, yes. Boom, 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 boobs. Number 5. Question. Are you in your life set on the path of those who came before you? Now, this is the central theme of the film for Ellie. She doesn't know exactly what she wants to do, where she wants to become. At the beginning of the film, she is trying to become her mother. She literally says, I want to do the stuff that mom did. Doesn't really know exactly where she needs to go. Then when she gets to London, she wants to become Sandie, moving very different ways. And she's trying to follow that path, but that path can be dangerous. We'll see why it is dangerous in about a few minutes. Ellie opens her eyes. She's now an audience of Rialto, still in her PJs and sleep clothes. The club is full, but she can only see the silhouettes of the patrons, clapping in time with the oompa rhythm. The curtains pull back, and a female silhouette is on stage. There are cheers as the spotlight switches on to reveal a half-naked burlesque performer who is not Sandie. She has the marionette strings at her arms that disappear up into the rafters. She lip-syncs, puppet on a string. Obviously, all of these men have the women on a string. Puppets, puppets. Ellie is struck with disappointment. Her eyes scan around for Sandie. At the bar, Jack nudges his neighbor, points to the stage. Ellie follows his line to see dancers flanking the main singer on stage. They too wear marionette strings, even less clothed. Crowd roars. There's something primal in the cheers. Ellie focuses on the stage and her breath catches. Sandie appears. What are the backup dancers? Not even in the lead. She has painted on smile as she performs. Ellie sinks a little. Sandie and the other dancers sway. Risque move causes another cheer. Ellie turns to see the crowd is all men, creepy and leering. Ugh. Wolf whistles, cut through the music. Turns back to the show and sees Sandie blow kiss to a leering guy in the audience. This prompts Ellie to leave. She stands and struggles through the leering crowd. Ellie spots the club owner sitting in a booth, pointing out Sandie to some rich-looking businessman. He moves quicker, heading for the exit. Closes in on Jack at the bar. He's drinking with, is that? Cubby. Nasty piece of work from Café de Paris. Ellie storms out of the venue, the oompa rhythm, and clapping, ringing her head. She heads to the exit, but instead of escaping into the street, she finds herself in Sandie's dressing room. Ellie's suddenly alone with Sandie, who looks at herself in a tatty mirror, her headshot pinned to it. The beautiful, excited young Sandie stares out from the black and white photograph. Sandie scrapes off her thick makeup. You can now see that time has passed between these dreams. Sandie's a little older, drawn thinner in the face. She lights a cigarette, takes a long draw. Staring at herself in the mirror, she exhales. She stares at her own headshot. At a younger her. Sandie looks crushed. This is not the life she imagined. Sandie then snaps, hits her own headshot with her fist. The mirror cracks behind the photo. Ellie approaches, goes to place her hand on Sandie's shoulder. As she makes contact, there's a knock at the door. "Where's my Sandie?" Sandie says nothing. Jack knocks again, more forceful. "Night's not over yet." Sandie and Ellie look toward the door in unison. "Come on, open up." The door opens, but it's not Sandie who answers Jack, but Ellie as Sandie, inhabiting her body and dress. "What do you want?" "Don't talk daft, you know." Jack grabs her hand, takes her back into the club. At a VIP booth in the club sits the club owner, some rich businessman, one of whom we'll call Pointer. Jack approaches with Ellie Sandie in tow and sits down. Pointer, speckled sleeves, leans forward to kiss Sandie's hand. "You promised a great show, and show you did. Show you did. Thank you." Pointer doesn't let go of her hand. Ellie Sandie looks at Jack, hoping he will step in. "Maybe we can go for some drinks, Sandie. Just us. I'm with Jack." "Jack doesn't mind, do you?" "Not one bit." Ellie Sandie looks at him, shocked. She gets up and leaves. Jack follows her, catches up and grabs her arm. "Sandie, get back here." "Jack, I don't want to do this." Jack pulls her close, his handsome face twisting into sneer. It's frightening. "You told me you were serious about being a performer. So if you want that, keep doing it. These are the kind of men you need to keep happy. The men you really need to perform for. No, Jack. Harvey Weinstein brought up Brian Singer earlier. Yeah, fuck them all. Sandie pulls away after her. He chases after her. Everyone else is doing it. What makes you so special? Then he turns back. Now angry Eloise. She said no! Ellie. Sandie breaks away. Jack shouts after her. We all have to start somewhere. Ellie runs into the dressing room. Frantically looks for an exit. No one. Dressing rooms. Corridors. Jack chases after her. But even as she loses him, she can still hear his angry voice. Sandie! Don't be a damn fool! Ellie's desperate search for an exit takes her through a maze of misery. She catches glimpses in rooms off this corridor. First is a young dancer sobbing on the phone. It was not what I thought. The second room, slightly older dancer, takes 2 pills. She smiles in the mirror. Doesn't reach her eyes. Sandie! This is the way it works. Third room, dancer is older again, clearly on uppers. Scantily clad, dancer for a punter. His hands are all over. She squirms under his touch. Pulls off her clothes. Ugh. I do what your manager tells you. In the fourth room, we catch a glimpse of flesh. A dancer is naked, servicing a customer. Ellie runs faster now. You don't want me to be unhappy, do you? In the fifth room, a dancer is on downers. Drug paraphernalia. Leathers. Stained couch she lies on. She stares at the wall, lost and alone. Remember, you were the one who wanted this. More than anything, you said. The passage out of this hellish club becomes unclear. This backstage world feeling more like a Kafkaesque trap. You know this is all an act. You know where this is heading, Sandie. You owe me. Where are you gonna run to? Home? Hurriedly, Ellie opens one last door in the dark hallway, only the bar to open to. Ellie finds herself back in the 60s bedroom before her. Sandie on the bed, wrapped in sheets. They're tangled, post-coital. She's sleeping, at least pretending to. Back in her PJs, looks on horrified. Willing to work your way up? She approaches Sandie to see she's okay. Pulls on the sheets down to cover her naked legs. To speak to Jack. He manages a lot of girls. Ellie then sees on the nightstand a pound notes. Face drops. This is just a taste of things to come, Sandie. Behind her, the toilet flushes. Light spills into the room as the bathroom door opens. Ooey. Perspiring pointer enters in a shirt and underwear. He's doing up his tie and walks towards Sandie and Ellie. I know you're not asleep. Ellie's face drops with horror. She watches as the smug pointer approaches Sandie on the bed and then shouts, Leave her alone! Pointer turns, seemingly looking right at Eloise. And then, beep, beep, beep. Both of them turn look at Ellie's alarm. For the place where her alarm should be. Beep, beep, beep. Ellie wakes up. What's a start? She reaches over to shut it off. The alarm, and suddenly, Pointer's hand grabs her. No, you're not asleep. Pointer is here. In the real world, his sweaty, smug face leers directly at Ellie. Ellie, looking drawn and exhausted, stands amid the busy students working on their design. Before her, on a mannequin in a rough version of the dress that Sandie was wearing on the first dream. Jack's voice echoes in her head. You were the one who wanted this. More than anything, you said. Ellie's face contorts, something between sadness and disgust. You're mine now. Takes a draft drawing of the dress, scrunches it up. Ellie then unpicks the fabric and dismantles her intricate sewing. John watches her, obsessively undoing her work. Jocasta smirks, makes catty comments to Cammy and company. Miss Tobin passes by and tries to stop her. Ellie, what are you doing? Starting again. Wait, this is just a wobble. Crisis of confidence. See it all the time. But don't stop now. You're really onto something here. Tobin smooths out the crumbled sketch of Sandie, puts it in Ellie's hand. Ellie stares at it, haunted. Did I do number 6? I'm not sure. Number 6 was Jack turns Sandie into the star, gives her a big break. I believe I did that with the last one. The last scene. Did I say before? I'm not sure if I did. But if I did, that is the push that Sandie really needed to see, like, this isn't what she actually wanted. This a nightmare. Literally. So now we're gonna get into number 7, Confront Self. Eloise changes her appearance to become Sandie, literally for a price. So now Eloise is seeing it, what the push has done. And she's seeing that she's going down that path as well. He's literally haunted. Like, it literally just said haunted. He is haunted by these memories, nightmares from Sandie and Jack. So, trying to become Sandie really just takes a toll on her, and she has learned that you can't really do that. You gotta learn some experiences. You gotta be your own woman. And yeah, it's just horrible. Now, we are in the basement of a nightclub. Back in the 60s, we're now in a new club. Although it's entirely mirrored, it feels dark and cavernous. Ellie magically becomes Sandie again. Ellie is trapped in the mirror as a reflection. The club is sleazier, the dance floor full of other girls dancing with older businessmen. There are booths at the side where clandestine meetings take place between girls and shifty-looking men. Sandie is wearing a revealing mini dress. She looks at her reflection in the mirror, at her gaunt face, pale colorless now from her nocturnal life. She shakes her head. How did I end up here? A glowering Jack steps in front of the mirror. We see him for what he is, not a manager, but a pimp. Sandie stares up at him, a hint of defiance in her eyes. Jack grabs her shoulders, seethes. You know how to dance. You know why you're here. Get on with it. He releases her. She dances, full of melancholy. She looks at herself in the mirror again, trying not to catch the eyes of any men watching on. Heartbroken Ellie watches, a prisoner in the mirror. Man approaches, dancing Sandie. She looks up and meets his eyes. We call her Punter 1. Hello there. Sandie, cigarette in hand, sits in a corner booth with Punter 1, flanked by mirrors. This one table is reflected into infinity. Ellie's in the mirror, helplessly watching on. Following sequence, we see many shifty punters talk to Sandie. Quick cuts representing an endless succession of nights in a claustrophobic club. Passage of time is shown by Sandie's changing dresses, which get darker and darker. Dialogue is interspersed with shots of Sandie dancing, growing more and more hectic and out of control. Champagne is placed on the table. Takes a glass, turns to Punter with a big smile and dead eyes. Thank you. What's your name? Alexandria. That's a lovely name. Thanks. Andy dances, champagne served, new dress, new Punter. What's your name? Alexa. That's a lovely name. Thanks. Andy dances, champagne served, new dress, new Punter. What's your name? Andy. That's a lovely name. Thanks. Andy dances, champagne served, new dress, new Punter. What's your name? Lexi. That's a lovely name. Thanks. Andy dances, champagne served, new dress, new Punter. What's your name? This Punter feels different. There's no sense of shame. His fixed grin is unnerving. His new clothes, offensive. He offers Sandie a cigarette. She takes it and answers. Alex. Your real name, love. And he glares at her. I reckon you're a copper or something. He winks and smiles wearily at him. Do you now? So what is it? Sandie. You're too good for this, Sandie. Sandie looks at Jack sitting at the bar with another girl. He watches her gloating. A little thing like you, lying in the gutter. I'd get out while you can, girl. You're better than this. Turns back, sadness in her eyes. She flatly replies, I don't think I am. Boom. 8. Sandie is being exploited and loses her sense of self. And this is part of losing her sense of self. She keeps saying different names. She doesn't even know who she is anymore. She's literally losing it. She's not caring anymore. She's falling into line. She's just done with it. Ellie watches this, crushed by this reply. Of course you are. Just look in the mirror. Ellie starts banging on the glass, trying to convince Sandie she's better than this. Convince her to leave, to run. Sandie refuses to look at herself. What if I don't want to? Maybe it's too late for you. No! Ellie pounds the glass. It starts to crack, draws the attention of Punter 5. Ellie hits the glass harder. Splinters, it cracks. Ellie smashes through, reaches through the mirror to grab Sandie's shoulder, but then Ellie wakes up in the bedroom. She gathers herself. Notices flashing red neon reveals the wallpaper. 1960s pattern. Bed is different. Brass frames at the head, foot, like prison bars. Ellie looks up at the ceiling. He sees an overhead mirror, and this reflection is Sandie, dressed in tacky underwear. Then, oh my God, it's Anya Taylor-Joy. I wish I was her. I wish I could turn into Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm sorry. Marriage and all that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was trying to stall. He sees a figure in the shadows. A flashing red neon reveals Punter from the club, undressing. Every time the neon flashes to black, the Punter changes. The red neon strobes through the passage of time, a multitude of creepy men. Undress every sec. Ellie shakes her head, horrified. She looks at the vanity mirror, sees Sandie. Every strobe. I lost it. Her negligee changes. Expression looks deader. Stupid. With every pulse. Through the red and black strobes, the morphin Punters move towards her. We see gnarled hands on the bedpost. They advance to the bed. Changing, stripping. Punters undress. Something even more sinister occurs. Black ink gets blotted out from their features. Twisted smiles, hungry eyes. Everything individual about them is stained with total darkness. No longer distinct. Just an outline of a man, emotionless, soulless, blank. No longer human. They are shadows. Rushes to the bathroom door, gets in and locks it. Getting the fuck out of there. Ellie realizes she's in her modern bathroom. It's daylight. Her bedroom's empty. Turns back to the bathroom sink, exhales, tries to calm down when she turns back to her room, now full of shadow men, maybe 13 of them. They fill the room, their blank faces staring back at Ellie, their bodies a horrible void. Ellie's completely horrified face, we cut back to her in college. Ellie enters to see the silver-haired gentleman sitting in his usual stool at the bar. His air conducting the bombastic intro of the song, which emanates from the jukebox. The song is Eloise by Barry Ryan. Ooh, how does he know? Could have just asked somebody, but before Ellie walks into his field of vision, she starts her iPhone recording. And here she is. The silver-haired gentleman seems a little merry. Ellie's face is stone, utterly determined. Your siren song is playing. I was watching a commentary. Edgar Wright said that she literally sings a siren song. It's kind of why you got Anya Taylor-Joy to sing. It's a siren song. I just put this on the jukebox and lo and behold, you appear. Carol was worried about you. Thought you gone missing. I told her no one ever really disappears. They're always around here. Somewhere. I'm right here. Ellie hides the iPhone behind the bar. She's on edge. Aren't you just... I'll have a pint of numbers, love. Tastes a glass, begins to pour. Hear you're quite the ladies' man. Where? How dare you? Still am. Never lose it. Knew a lot of the girls around here? A lot of them. I knew all of them. Sandie? Who didn't know Sandie? Ellie tenses up. He notices. Joy's like, my Eloise, I love to please her. I'm not gonna sing. I can't sing. Ellie, usually unnerved, tries to keep together. Do I scare you? No. I knew all of the girls. I like to think I looked after them. Keep them in order too, mind. Keep them in line. Sandie, she was special though. She didn't belong. But she was too good for it. Probably right, to be honest. You know, at the end of the day, all look the same on a slab. That is a hint what he just said. Thought she was too good for it. You're led to believe the whole film that this is Jack. It's not Jack. It is the Hunter number 5. Tried to get her out. Anyway, I know what you did. You've done a lot of things, Eloise. You have to be a lot more specific, love. I know what you did to Sandie. Do you now? I saw her. I see her. I know what happened. Well, whatever happened to Sandie, she brought it upon herself. He looks at him shocked. No one deserves that. Silver-haired gentleman drops a smile and jabs fingers at her. Listen, I know where you live, Eloise. Don't know what you've seen or heard, but I can tell you Sandie ended up exactly where she wanted to be. Funny you mention her, though, because the first thing I did when I dragged myself back up to this miserable smoke was look up her old bones, but it turns out some people don't want to be found. Silver-haired gentleman gets up from his stool and walks towards the exit. You killed her? You think I killed Sandie? Like there was a pint of glass on the ground, smashing it to pieces. I know you did. Silver-haired gentleman laughs at this. Ha! I think you'll find Alex killed Sandie. Then walks towards the exit. The outdoor steps to the street. Ellie follows, not sure how to stop him. Come back. I think I've had enough of this line of questioning. You think she was an angel, but don't be fooled. Silver-haired gentleman walks up the stairs. Ellie grabs her iPhone, runs after him, shouting, I'm recording this. You won't get away with it. So what? Do what I like in this manner. Red gentleman exits a busy street. Ellie chases him across the street. The police know. I told them. Silver-haired gentleman angrily turns over her. Like I give a flying fuck. Wait. He backs away. His face furiously spits at Ellie. When you see Alex and whatever little hell she's curling in, you tell her I said hello. Boom. A black taxi knocks the silver-haired gentleman flying. Crack. His whole body crumbles sickeningly. He flies over the bonnet. Punches brutally onto the floor. Ellie lets out a silent scream, covering her face with her hands. She drops her iPhone to the floor. It shatters. Bystanders on the street turn to gasp. Taxi driver brakes hard, gets out. She sees the corpse of the silver-haired gentleman in the gutter. Grimace on his bloody face. Number 9. Answer question. Confront Jack and realize everyone's true identity in this hellhole. So, yes, this is a twist. This is not Jack. This is someone else. Oh my good God. Ellie unravels. The sound of commotion almost drowned in the interior whine. Hysteria takes hold of the street. Behind, the bartender and Carol run out to the grim scene. Jesus, what happened, Ellie? Ellie stares at the bartender blankly. A crowd has started to gather. Carol recoils in shock. He just stepped out. Wasn't expecting it. Oh, Lindsay. You poor bastard. Call an ambulance, pet. Now. Bartender immediately dials 999. 1188 999 76. Damn it, I forgot it. Sorry, it's an IT crowd reference.
Nicer ambulances, faster response times, and better looking drivers mean they're not just the emergency services, they're your emergency services. So, remember the new number.
999 8899 991 725 3.
That's
1998 999 8899 125 3.
I've had a bit of a tumble.
This is the first time Ellie has been in Mrs. Collins' flat since he moved in. The old vinyl player didn't previously notice plays Celia Black. There's an old record box too. Music upstairs got me breaking out my old records. Ellie sits as Mrs. Collins boils the kettle. She calls out, "Oh, I picked up a letter for you by mistake. It's in that pile." Ellie sees a pile of posts on a coffee table. Shuffles through the letters addressed to Miss Alexandra Collins. She finds one letter addressed to her. But Mrs. Collins posts back and notices a lit cigarette in the ashtray. Collins returns with a cup of tea. Don't judge me on the cigarettes. All that hoo-ha on the other night got me going again. I'm sorry. It's okay. I've always been on the edge. Mrs. Collins brings a cup of tea over and sits opposite Ellie. She takes a cigarette from the ashtray and draws. "Do you have something you want to talk about?" Ellie gathers herself. "Miss Collins, sorry to do this. I really don't want to be this person, but I'm leaving tonight." "How are you now?" "Not having a good time here, and I need to go back home. I promise I will pay for the mirror. I really need some of my deposit. I've got nothing." "Slow down. I don't want to beg. This has been a disaster. Slow down." "Hush. Drink your tea." He does so and sips at her tea. Collins smiles. "Spoke to the police, didn't you? About the room upstairs?" "Yeah." Even though Miss Collins is smiling, Ellie can meet her eye and just sips her tea again. "Nice police lady come around asking questions about you. About your well-being. Welfare check, she's called it. Had me worried. She's saying a girl died up here?" "I'm sorry." "Well, it's funny because there's some truth in that." Ellie looks at Mr. Collins, who has a smile on his face. "I never thought about it that way till you brought it up. But a girl did die up there, I suppose." Ellie's eyes widen as Miss Collins continues in the same calm, unnerving yet cheery tone. "The young me that came to this big city." These eyes flick to the pile post, the name Alexandra Collins. She whispers to herself, "Sandie." Ellie's reeling at this. Miss Collins smiles darkly and takes a drag of her cigarette. "I had hopes and dreams like you. Wanted to be a singer, wanted to perform, to act. Being a whore is a bit like being an actress, I suppose. You have to pretend you're someone else, someone that's not you. Pretend I was somewhere else. This wasn't happening to me. Try and forget all those men. Their faces, I blanked them out. I had to make like they were nothing." Off Ellie's face, we see a quick flash cut montage of punchers approaching Sandie's bed. They are human once more, but their faces are still shrouded in shadow. You can say it. Sandie died up there. She died in that room 100 times. Alan traces her fingers along her right palm, showing an old scar that runs along it. Deep, nasty wound. Then one night, the man who put me there, the man who put me to work, the man who stole my dream, I put a knife in him 100 times. Flash cut montage of Jack menacing Sandie on her bed. A knife. When he goes to stab her, she grabs the blade, wrestles it away from him, pushes the knife back into Jack's throat. Blood splashes onto her face. And she stabs him again and again and again from under him. What Ellie saw was not Jack stabbing Sandie. It was the exact opposite. Back in the room, Miss Collins still smiles unnervingly. "I tell you what, Ellie. I can call you Ellie, right?" "Yes." "Felt right. So many of those bastards who came ringing my bell, came creeping up my stairs. They sent me to my hell, so I sent them to theirs." Quick flash cut montage of Sandie slashed in the throats. Succession of sleazy punchers. We see flashes of their real faces, now rendered in vivid flesh, scared, shocked. Back to Ellie's realization dawning. The papers called them missing persons. As far as I'm concerned, they were already lost. So people didn't know where they were. I say, they didn't know who they were. I did everyone a favor. The flash cut montage, we see now dead punters buried dark wall spaces under floorboards. Ugh. I wasn't going to be used anymore. I wasn't going to let this city break me. I'm so sorry. Why? It's not your fault. I mean, I understand. I know what you've been through. A smile becomes a sneer. Oh, do you? I didn't mean to get you in trouble with the police. Oh, it's okay. Think you're mad. Not like you're going to tell anyone else. Of course not. I would never. Though, I mean, I know you're not going to tell anyone else. And looks at the tea in Ellie's hand. Ellie follows her gaze. Feels woozy. Drops the cup to the floor. Don't worry. I'm not going to stab you like the others. I wouldn't do that to you. Ellie clutches the armrest of her seat. Her head reels. I want to go to sleep. Don't just say you topped yourself. Because, everyone thinks you're going to do that anyway. They're all very concerned about you. Bless. Ellie feels stomach pangs. Oh, just get comfy. You can doze off, listen to some of your nice music. No. Ellie croaks, her full voice suddenly gone. Just you take it easy. No more excitement. Ding dong. Someone is at the door. Miss Collins gets up. He opens the curtain to see John. He presses the doorbell a second time. Oh, just you, isn't it? Little liar. Collins grabs a knife from the kitchen on the way to the door. Ellie tries to get up and stop her. No! Miss Collins turns and slaps Ellie hard, knocking her to the ground. Her head cracks on the floor. Eyes glaze. Just coming, dearie. Boom. Number 10. Defeat Antagonist. Now we're gonna have to battle Sandie and her dual identity, Alex. There's two people there. The new Sandie, Alex, what she became. And Alex is kind of the whore that she's. So she's not Sandie anymore. It's Alex. And Alex is a vengeful killer. And she wants to protect her secret. Or nobody finds out. So yes, this is what we're doing. Okay, so the ending of this film is really just Ellie running from Alex and gets back up there to her room. The shadow men come out. They try to grab Ellie and tell her, don't call the cops, kill her. Kill Alex. Then Alex comes in the room. She sees everything. She's reminded of everything. Basically, she's convincing her that you fucked up. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have gone through it, though. Jack said, I'm with you to the end, Sandie. I see with Miss County, an array of all pathetic men. Middle of them, sneered Jack, dressed in the clothes she murdered him. You're the one who wanted this. More than anything, you said. Jack raises his hand to strike Mrs. Collins. She flinches in pain and the world returns to normal. Smoke is pissing up the stairwell. Black and acrid. Thick as fabric. Swirls and catches the neon lights from outside. Eloise looks as Mrs. Collins stands in the room, shocked and struck. Full-length mirror behind her, she also sees Sandie. Young, innocent, full of hope. Ellie watches both. Older Mrs. Collins and the ghost of her younger self. The person she lost. Long beat, it drips of Mrs. Collins' sadness and regret. The bedroom's starting to burn. Then Collins drops her knife to her side, shakes her head. Sirens start to sound in the distance. Miss Collins knows there's no way out. She looks at Eloise. I didn't want any of this. I know. I saw. They deserved it. I know. Sirens are getting louder. I'm not going to prison. I've been in one all my life. Collins raises the knife once more, but moves to slash her own throat. No! Ellie jumps and runs to Mrs. Collins. She drags the blade across her throat. See the knife cut her flesh. As Ellie reaches her and grips the blade, it cuts into her palm. It doesn't reach Miss Collins' throat. As she pushes the blade away from Mrs. Collins' neck, we suddenly see Ellie embrace the young Sandie. Wrestles the blade away from her throat. Hurls it. Young Sandie, slightly bleeding from the neck. Ellie embraces her, cries, blood spreads over her dress. Ellie looks young Sandie in the eye. You don't have to do this. You can live. Please live. You have to let go. Young Sandie expression turns to anger. She pushes Ellie away from her. Her face wrought with anguish. Leave! Sandie, bleeding, backs away from Ellie. The fire is now out of control. Flames lick up the walls. No! Eloise runs forward to grab her back from the fire, but she pushes back defiantly. Can't save me. Ellie understands. She sees that the flames of disaster, are rising and the smoke is thickening rapidly. The photo of her mom on the side table is burning up. Now in front of her, once more, is Miss Collins. Save yourself. Save the boy. Go. Okay, so, I was watching the commentary. Edgar Wright said, Diana Riggs actually hated that take. So, it was supposed to be Mrs. Collins at the end. It's not. It's Anya Taylor-Joy. It's young Sandie. So, it's not Mrs. Collins. It's not Diana Riggs that says that. Save yourself, save the boy, go. So, this brings me to number 11, the lesson. You don't have to sacrifice for your career. Also, the murders and hurt didn't help. There was a better way. She got out of it. Murders wouldn't have happened, but and again, these pieces of shit needed to die. No one here was good. Sandie was in the right, but it's the wrong way to go about it. And she lost her sense of self completely. Okay, so now after that ending, Sandie Alex dies in that fire. He sits there and lets Eloise and John go. So now we skip ahead some point in time. I don't know exactly how far ahead in time. The rectangle photograph of Sandie becomes a door frame, silhouette reminiscent of our opening image. Music starts a dance remix of Petulia Clark's Downtown, blasting through this large cavernous space. A figure appears in the doorway, an outline of Sandie, dressed she was when she first met her in Café de Paris. The figure stalks towards us. Those strip lights blink on. The cameras flash behind her. And now, first year student Eloise Turner. The entire audience of shadowy people burst into applause. The lights come up and we are looking at a happy audience of a fashion show. Peggy and John are right in the middle, clapping their hardest. From behind a mirrored wall, 3 young models strut down the catwalk wearing designs that are a natural evolution of Ellie's college work. The first is the dress inspired by Sandie. Second, third are completely modern. You see Ellie in the wings, watching her work parade around. She beams proudly. There's loud applause. The models loop back to the backstage area. Voice beams over the PA. Eloise Turner! Something that's not mentioned. I'll mention it when I get to number 12. This thunderous applause as Ellie walks out on stage with her models, surrounded by her designs. Peggy and John stand to clap as she soaks up this moment of triumph. Smiles fire off stage and Ellie follows them. A proud Miss Tobin is waiting in the wings. She wraps Ellie in a celebratory hug. I knew you could do this, even after everything you've gone through. You're a star, Ellie. Ellie then follows her models back to the staging area. Nearby, Cammy and Laura prepping their own models. Laura and Cammy run over to Ellie. That was incredible. You really are so brave. So brave. You're such an inspiration. Sure, bitch. Ellie hugs both of them. She moves on, sees Ashley and Jocasta too. Ashley applauds Ellie. Jocasta gives her a colder glance. This is pretty common with Edgar Wright. He does test screenings. And he changes the endings. He did it with Scott Pilgrim. This one, he was going to hug Jocasta. The audiences hate it. Like, oh, don't do that. I'm like, okay, I'll take it out. This is fucking hilarious. Totally brushes Jocasta off and moves towards her area, beaming with satisfaction. As she does this, she catches a reflection in a large mirror, but not just her reflection in the mirror. She looks again, she sees behind her once more her mom. That also wasn't in the original ending. Makes her pride and love. Ellie stares at her, warm, happy. There she is, my big-time fashion designer. Peggy and John move towards Ellie. John has a cane and is limping. It was amazing, you're amazing. Ellie kisses him. I was gonna say kill for some reason. Just so happy I was here to see it. I'm glad I'm here to see it too. He clutches Eloise's hands. Don't need me to say this, but your mom would have been so proud of you. Ellie smiles to herself. I know she is. Ellie turns back to the mirror. In the reflection, it's not her mom. It's young Sandie. Just as we first saw her. Perfect. Ellie starts walking away from Peggy and John towards a mirror drawn to it. Ellie and Sandie are inches apart. Blue flashing lights echo around both. Sandie smiles. Ellie smiles. They tap the glass together. Number 12, show growth with change. Ellie lives with the experiences while creating her own success. So now she's learned from both her mother and Sandie how to hold herself together, how to trust herself, not try to be someone else. Also, you see at the end, Ellie changes her hair again. It's more like her mother, but it's a bit of both. A bit of both her mother and Sandie. Very, very nice ending. Great ending. My only issue is that it feels like a little rushed, but hey. Edgar Wright's a genius, so I will not. Thank you, Edgar Wright, for this film. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out. This has been reScribd. We've just done The Last Night in Soho. Beautiful script. I think it was very underrated. I forgot what came out the week after this, but it was only in theaters for like a week, and I was so disappointed because I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, I want to go see it again out of theaters. Like, what the hell, man? And unfortunate. If you guys enjoy this, please go watch the film. If you enjoy this, go follow and subscribe TheWriTra on all these platforms. You could also find me at TheWriTra or TheWriTra. Either way works. Mainly TheWriTra, but yes, go follow all of those. We are back into reScribd. And next time, I believe we're gonna get a little more horror. For now, I'm out. See you when I see you. Subscribe, follow, reScribd, The Righteous Room. I'm out. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.